You're listening to the Talk Story Radio Network.
Hey, there's a sharp hole in the wall, and you're listening to Swoops World.
And welcome back to Swoops World on the Talk Story Radio Network. And we'd like to welcome our guest today, Lisa Dwoskin, to the show. She's an author, and she had a new book called Metamorphosize. She's been a longtime fitness expert, and she was also an expert on the Rick Sanchez show on NBC6. Also a gym owner and a competitive bodybuilder. Welcome to the show, Lisa.
Hi, how are you?
Doing great. How are you tonight?
Good, good. Getting ready to go to sleep over here in Miami, Florida.
Late night for you. Well, we appreciate you staying up to chat with us. Tell our listeners a little bit about yourself, where you grew up, and were you always into the fitness thing growing up? Did you play sports or anything, or how that came along in your life?
Okay, I was born and raised in South Florida, Miami, Florida. And in high school, I played sports. I was a cheerleader. And then in my first year of college, I just thought it was fun to teach aerobics. I got into fitness. Then I started studying psychology, and then I found exercise physiology very interesting. And the two together, the mind-body connection, really fascinated me. So I just really got into fitness. I became a fitness expert, a model. I competed in figure and different bodybuilding competition, started running marathons, and just really loved the way fitness made me feel. So I opened my own gym 13 years ago, and I own a wellness center, a spa, and a salon. And I just found that so many people were trying to heal themselves by looking better and changing their bodies, and it just wasn't working for them. So I decided to add a mind-body-spirit connection, and in my wellness center, I really brought that out with the different programs that I would offer there and try to help people heal themselves from the inside and not so much from the outside.
And when you say that, heal themselves from the inside, are you talking more nutrition, or is it a mental thing, or can you be a little bit more specific on that for us?
Yeah, definitely a mental thing. I feel that so many people in my industry, and seeing I had about 2,000 members in my gym, they're always so focused on looking better and getting to the perfect weight, and then they find that they'll be happy. And then I noticed that so many of them would get to the weight that they wanted, and they still didn't feel happy. So when I say inward feeling, the mind-body connection, meditating and learning how to truly love yourself and be at peace inside of yourself. And yes, nutrition has something to do with that, and a balance of living a healthier lifestyle. But the main thing is the mind and body connection, and just very simply loving yourself more. You are exactly at the moment of time, which is now, not waiting to get to where you think you want to be.
Yeah. What do you think causes people to become obsessed with the, with the look? A lot of us, Taylor and I have both worked out a lot and been in gyms and stuff like that. And you see the people who are really they spend a lot of time, not just working out, but as far as they spend a lot of time in the mirrors. And I understand that sometimes you do that to check your form and stuff like that. But sometimes you see the people that are really obsessed with each pound or every inch or every all the vascularity and all this kind of stuff, and they're not competing. It's just a look that they think they need to have. What do you think causes that obsession?
I think definitely it stems from deep rooted insecurities and not loving themselves and not being happy with themselves. And then they think once they look great that they will feel better on the inside, so they do become obsessed. And that I go over that in my book, because when I was a child in high school, I got made fun of a lot, like a lot of us do. We get bullied, and that affects our self-esteem and the way we feel about ourselves. So as I grew up and went to college and in my 20s, I made my body be the center of my attention. So I would be so focused, not in an unhealthy way where I became anorexic or bulimic, but I just was so obsessed with exercise and working out. And the better my body looked, the better I thought I was feeling. But in reality, I really wasn't. Of course, you feel more secure when you're more attractive to the opposite sex or to the same sex. Some people are, or whatever, attracted to other people. But definitely when you're really not feeling good about yourself, you want your body to look so perfect. That's why those people are looking in the mirror. And in reality, they're really not feeling better about themselves to the point where they're going to be happy within.
Do you ever come across, I mean, you have a client that says they want to get to a certain goal, and you're explaining the things that you just stated here. Their response could be something like, well, of course you say so. Look at how you look. How do you get someone who, or you have a client, or the steps that you give an idea of kind of steps you take them through that is not healthy or not where they want to be? And it sounds like to me you're saying your first step is to kind of work on what you feel mentally as you walk towards that goal. How do you get somebody to understand that?
Okay, the first thing, well, definitely I've heard that many times. Oh, it's so easy for you. Look at you. Well, no, it's not easy for me either. I'm working on myself internally and externally every day by exercising, eating healthy, and working on my mind and spirit. So the first thing I tell them is we sit down and have a consultation, and I'll ask them what their goals are, and of course they're going to say how many pounds they want to lose, but then I'll ask them why they haven't reached their goals, and that's when everything starts coming out. And I guess with my degree in psychology, it's easy for me to talk to people and pull information out of them. They feel comfortable, and then they'll start explaining why they haven't gotten to where they need to be, because whatever's holding them back from their childhood, from their divorce, a death in their family, whatever they're going through. So then I ask them to start journaling, which I feel is very important at night, instead of just kicking back with a drink or food, watch TV, to spend 10 minutes and journal their feelings of why they want to get to where they want to get with their weight and what has been stopping them. And that, of course, brings out a lot. And then I also get them to start meditating, which I definitely want to talk to you about. Meditation is definitely the key to inner happiness.
Let's, we're going to cover a lot here, and we'll definitely get to that. But let me ask you this, because a lot of trainers and experts in the fitness industry, only time they ever tell you anything about quote journaling is write down everything you put in your mouth and write down all your workout sets and repetitions. But you're actually saying you're going a little bit deeper. You're talking about write about their feelings, right?
Right. And nowadays the trainers are becoming more life coaches. You'll see that in a lot of the gyms and wellness centers, health clubs. It's more becoming like a lifestyle and a way of life. So the trainers are definitely focusing and understanding that because there's so much stress in our life with the finances, the economy, society, everything that's going on today in our world is definitely making the people more stressed out and not happy and filled with anxiety. So I find that trainers across the board are focusing a little bit on the mind, not as much as me and not as much as some of us, but they are definitely opening that path up to the mind-body connection.
Yeah. We talk about obesity in our society and stuff like that, and then I'm sure you've seen these shows such as Biggest Loser or the 1 year transformation thing and stuff like that. When you look at things like that, what are your thoughts?
Well, I actually love Chris Powell. He does the Extreme Weight Loss Makeover. And I actually am training a man who's 500 pounds right now. Actually, he just lost 100 pounds. He was 500 when he started with me. So what do I feel? I feel that I wish they would show a little more realistically what they have to go through. I think the Biggest Loser and Extreme Weight Loss Makeover, they kind of show that it's so easy to do in such a short amount of time. I think the Extreme Weight Loss Makeover kind of shows more over time. And I love those shows, but I just wish that people would understand it's not a quick fix, and you don't need to be on a TV show with chefs and special people living at your house and around you 24 hours a day. Anybody can do it, but what the people need to understand is that it's not a quick fix. It's a way of life that you need to live now and forever. You can't just pop a pill and the weight loss is going to come off. It's a way of transforming yourself, and that goes right back to not only transforming your physical self, but your mental self and your spiritual self as well.
That is that. Sometimes we hear people say you kind of have to reboot. I mean, you have to kind of, like you're saying, you take a look at everything about you, not just your physical self, but your mental self, and kind of change those things that got you feeling certain ways and reboot. Is that what you're talking about, and that type of thing?
Yeah, definitely. But I think people set unrealistic goals, and people are always searching and hoping and thinking, okay, New Year's is coming up. I'm going to quit smoking. I'm going to lose 30 pounds in the first 3 months or 6 months. And then, of course, they set these unrealistic goals that they can't actually obtain, instead of just looking at themselves in the mirror and being happy with what they see right now, today, accepting themselves fully for who they are and thinking that they're enough. And yes, everyone wants to better themselves, and if they're overweight and need to lose weight, they need to do it in a slow way without pressuring themselves, without setting such unrealistic goals, and just being kind and loving to themselves and letting it happen in a slow progression, a way that they could actually obtain.
What prompted you to write the book?
Well, I personally went through many, many trials and tribulations of a divorce, a death of my soulmate who died in my early 20s, heart problems, many surgeries, my business having a lot of financial turmoil when the whole economy turned. So just going through so many trials and tribulations and knowing that I used to always escape to exercise, and it made me feel great because it gave me the high. It was my drug of choice. Instead of drinking or prescription pills or recreational drugs, I would go running, go spinning, whatever I can do to relieve my stresses in life. And then when I had a heart issue, I had heart surgery, I couldn't work out for a couple months, and that I thought would kind of change me, which it didn't. I went right back into it again. Then last year when I wrote the book, I had 2 other surgeries where my actual organs were collapsing, falling down from all the heavy weightlifting, which just became too much from all the competitions. Mm-hmm. And when I was out for about 16 weeks is when I really sat back and looked at myself and thought, wow, I can't escape to exercise. And I really had to look deep within my spirit and soul and mind to change the things in life that weren't making me happy. And when I went through all of these changes, it helped heal me to write it on paper. And I knew that if it could heal me, it could help heal others. So I wanted to get it out there and be a voice.
Wow. I understand that you say that there are 5 things people are doing wrong when they're trying to get in shape. What are some of those things, and what do you think the biggest problem is?
Okay, so the biggest problem is people go right to a gym and join a gym when they're not even ready to join a gym. If they've been to a gym and they're very disciplined and they have someone help them or they work out with someone, that might work, but what someone needs to do first is, like what I said before, meditate. Get centered and figure out why they want to go and join the gym, why they want to get in shape. And it's very simple. You hit guided meditation on Google, and thousands of guided meditations will come up, from Oprah Winfrey, Deepak Chopra, to unknown names. Anyone could listen to it for 10 minutes and learn how to meditate, and I think that's the number one thing to do. And then, of course, not to set unrealistic goals. And like I said before, to start journaling instead of going right to the gym, and maybe start walking outside instead of joining the gym right away. And then also to try to just shut everything off and get to know themselves a little bit better, and again, set their goals and then join a gym. Does that make sense?
Yeah. It's interesting because, a lot of times we hear people talk about meditations, and you say guided meditations. I've heard different types of meditations. When somebody when somebody begins meditations and meditating, what can they hope to get out of that first experience?
Nothing. Definitely nothing. And definitely if you're an A-type personality like me, always on the go and wanting to do high-intensity exercise or fast-paced, which we all are, most of us in this world, what they're going to get is frustration, and they're not going to like it, 90% of people that try it. So what I recommend is about 5 to 10 minutes every day. They have to make a commitment to do it, because it's going to take about 30 days until you start understanding and accepting that, wow, I could actually relax and take 3 long, deep breaths, relax my shoulders, close my eyes, and it does make me feel better. But at the beginning, they're going to be so resistant to it because they don't believe in it, or they're not going to be patient enough. And then after 30 days, they'll start to enjoy it, and then they might do it a little bit longer, and maybe once a week they'll do it for 30 minutes. And over time, it's amazing what meditation could do for stress and anxiety and finding inner peace in your life.
You mentioned something a few minutes ago where you said something about, just walking. I read an article a while back about a guy who lost an enormous amount of weight. And I think he started off around the 400 or 500 pound range also. And he said, the first thing he started doing was walking, because he said he really couldn't walk. He said he started off walking, a block, and he said, he would be exhausted after that, and he built up to it. And he talked about his journey over the years, and like you mentioned earlier, it wasn't a quick fix. It took him a long time to lose the weight, and it took him a long time to get to the point where he could actually, quote, exercise. And you mentioned that, walking. Do you find that when you tell people that they're a little shocked, or they don't understand that maybe just a little bit more movement might help get them in the right direction?
Yeah, they think they have to go full force right away. And of course, I was a gym owner for 13 years, and I work at gyms. I love gyms. That's like my home away from home. So I recommend gyms for people once they know that they can make the commitment, because people just go out and join a gym and blow all this money if they pay everything at once, or they get so excited. And like I said before, they put all these unrealistic goals and expectations on themselves, and then they get so frustrated, they'll go 5 days a week to the gym and go full force, and then by week 2, they're going 3 times a week. By week 3, they're not even going. Yeah. When I owned my gym in January, my God, we sold 500 memberships. By March, 450 of those people never came back. So definitely walking gets them into it and lets them know that they can do this, and that high that they feel when they exercise. And then eventually they should join a gym, because you want to do weights and cardio, not just the walking. Weight-bearing exercises is definitely very important too.
We see, you mentioned it, and it's something that I have a friend who owns a gym also, and we discussed this. And what is this thing? And I understand it's the whole New Year's resolution thing, but how do you explain to people? Because that's what happens. All gym owners go through that. They get that big boost in membership in the early part of the year, and by the middle of the year, they're trying to figure out how to get more people in the gym, because things start to die off and people stop coming. Is that just inherent in our society, that everybody makes these resolutions and wants to start off the year with a bang, and then they just don't commit to it?
Yeah, and that's the whole problem with why obesity is so out of control, because they again want a quick fix. And not only the quick fix, when they place the expectations and the unrealistic goals upon themselves, and then they don't obtain those goals, and they get so frustrated, they feel like a failure, they can't understand why they didn't do it, and then it's this whole thing with the mind-body connection again, that they start feeling guilty, they start being harmful to themselves, maybe not physically, but spiritually, or maybe both. They go out drinking or take pills, whatever people do to help cope with why they fail in different areas. And that, again, goes back to the meditation, because when you can meditate and be at peace and love yourself, and not, meditation doesn't also make you love yourself, it makes you be more at peace, but then you can accept yourself that, hey, it's okay if I don't lose 15 pounds in the first month. It's okay if it takes me a year to get to where I need to get. And that, and by loving themselves and being kind to themselves and accepting themselves right here and right now, who they are, then they won't put so much pressure and unrealistic goals upon themselves. So they won't fail.
Yeah, I see where you're coming from, and I think that also helps with people who, you hear people have different theories and when it comes to health and fitness. And I talk to people who say, well, I try to eat right 6 days a week, and I have a cheat day on the 7th day or whatever, so 1 day a week. I also hear other people say, I try to eat right every day, but if I don't eat right one day, it's no big deal. Is that all kind of the things that you work on with them when you talk about the mental aspect and loving yourself and having attitudes where you can kind of step out of your thing there one day, but you move forward the next?
Yeah, well, that's kind of a tricky question, because yes, I do tell people don't be so strict with themselves, but there are people that do have eating problems and do have to worry about their portion control, and if they do binge one day, they might totally fall off track. I totally agree with the eating 6 days a week healthy, and then one day cheating a little bit, not the whole entire day like I've seen some people,
Yeah.
but having, they just go crazy from morning till night. But a couple cheat meals here or there, and I tell a lot of my clients who, of course, women who love to drink wine, if you're going to drink wine during the week a little bit, then eat protein, eat vegetables, don't eat the heavy pastas and drink the alcohol. So, yeah, I would say don't be so hard on themselves, but you have to follow a structured guideline in order to obtain your goals, if it's to lose a lot of weight or to get more tone. But yes, not to be so hard on themselves, and to love and accept themselves as well.
Nice. With Metamorphosize, is that the type of book that people read, learn from, and put it down or share with somebody else, or is it more of a reference book?
Read and share and reference, it's all of the above. It's a book for everyone listening to us right now, and you and the person sitting next to you and me and all of us, to just teach us that we don't have to get to the perfect weight. We don't have to find the perfect love of our life. We have to have the perfect job to become happy. And my book gives all the people, and that's all of us, the tools on how to be happy now, right in your present moment, by looking at yourself in the mirror and telling yourself every morning when you wake up, I love you, you're enough, you're okay, you're great. And then by giving to others and being grateful for everything that we have in our life, whether it's hardships or good ships or whatever it is at the present moment, be grateful and smile at people and surround yourself with positive people. And it just, my book goes over a lot of homework to do on a daily basis to be happy here and now. And then, of course, I talk about exercise and nutrition and juicing and helping the environment and just living a balanced life and meditation and just how to be happy in the moment, I think, is the most important message that my book could send out to people.
Nice. Do you think that we talked about how people become obsessed with exercise and things like that, and same with nutrition and losing weight and whatnot. When you talk about the whole balanced lifestyle, when you in your business, when you've dealt with people and you've trained people and you mentored people, have you seen a change in individuals as they accepted this and practiced it?
Oh, 100%. I've trained so many people in the past 25 years, and definitely I would say in the past 8 to 10 years, when I really added this whole mind-body-spirit connection, the people I've helped is it's just overwhelming to me, and that's why I wrote the book, and that's why I do what I do, because to see the people transform and to see them learn how to love themselves and be happy with themselves, for whether they lost the 5 pounds, 15 pounds, 30 pounds, my 500-pound guy who lost 100 pounds, it had so many internal problems, and that's why he got to where he got. And if he didn't focus on the mind-body-spirit connection as a whole, he wouldn't have lost 100 pounds. And if he would have found a trainer who just focused on, you got to lose weight, weigh yourself every day, and never worried about what happened in his childhood or what was going on internally with him, he would have failed and maybe even committed suicide. Who knows what people could do. So definitely, I've seen so many transformations, and it just makes my heart so happy to see that it's as simple as being kind and loving to yourself. That's simple. And it sounds crazy, but when you say it to a person, when they're going through so much, they look at you and they say, wow, you're right, I'm not kind and loving to myself at all. Most people aren't. And when they understand that, it becomes so much easier to change their lives.
We always talk to people who do a lot of mentoring and training and teaching. Quick question I always want to know is who was your mentor? Who mentored you? How did you become the person that you are today?
My mentor for the past 10 years, I would say, is Dr. Wayne Dyer. When I was a child, of course, my parents were everything to me. My dad is a very strong businessman who made me very strong and independent and have good values and drive. And my mom always taught me how to believe in myself and have a great imagination and believe that I could conquer anything I set out for in my life. But then recently on my spiritual journey, Dr. Wayne Dyer, who's on mainly PBS, Channel 2, he wrote so many books on the power of intention and manifesting anything you desire in your life, and, of course, meditation. And I just think he is amazing. So if anyone doesn't know who he is, Google Dr. Wayne Dyer, and he'll definitely change your life, as well as metamorphosize my book.
Absolutely. Well, yeah, he's on TV all the time. You can find him and see who Lisa has actually looked up to, and also check out her book. We're going to take a quick break, Lisa, and then we want to come back, and we have so many more questions for you. You able to hang on?
Sure.
You listen to Swoops World on the Talk Story Radio Network. Our guest is Lisa Dwoskin, and we're going to take a quick break. This is J.D. Nash. He'll be our guest next week. This is called 55. Back after this.
that's low in the city you left behind, filled with heavy hearts and dying hearts, having no rhythm or rhyme. Torch was passed, a new chapter was set to erase this competition. 55 was your badge of honor. Your hope was your sword, and your love was your armor. You never lost faith in me, and on your shoulders I could always land. I know you're with me now, so proud of me for living out my dreams. Was your badge of honor. Your hope was your sword, and your love was your armor. You never lost faith in me, and on your shoulders I could always land. I know you're with me now, so proud of me for living out my dreams. You stood for the red, the white, and the blue. And down my dark alleyways, your shining light will carry me through. Yeah, 55 was your badge of honor. Your hope was your sword, and your love, it was your armor, yeah.
Go for a little ride.
Now you can share the topics that drive the discussions of your favorite talk shows with TalkStream Live's topic-driven talk radio.
We gotta talk. Let's take a drive.
List and promote real-time talk radio topics, or post the topics that you want to hear. Hot topics are tweeted and retweeted, and include simple click-to-listen audio links. The future of talk radio is topic-driven talk radio.
That's what I call real drive.
Available now at TalkStreamLive.com.
Talk Story Radio.
This is OC singer-songwriter Justin Swallow, and you're listening to Swoops World.
Crying on the floor, drinking whiskey from a glass. I was an awful mess. You called me on the phone, I was drunk off my ass. You made me get...
And welcome back to Swoops World on the Talk Story Radio Network. And we're here with our guest, Lisa Dwoskin. She's a fitness expert, an author, among a whole lot of many things, mentor, speaker, you name it. Welcome back to the show, Lisa.
Thank you.
I have a quick question for you. We talk about the mind and body transformation as far as the physical transformation, all those kind of things. When you first opened your gym, where were you mentally in that aspect? Were you all about the fitness and the looks, or were you already incorporating this into your clientele?
I had been into fitness and modeling and competing for about 15 years before I opened my gym. And when I opened my gym, I was just turning 30, and I had lost the love of my life with my soulmate when I was 28. And that completely threw my life in a tailspin. And I found a meditation CD from a friend of mine called Metamorphosis, the Transformation. And that was the only thing that helped me get through the loss of losing him, my ex-boyfriend who passed away. And as I went through that, and I opened my gym, I thought that when I opened my gym, I wanted to name it, of course, Metamorphosize, and I wanted it to be a place where people could heal their mind, body, and spirit. I didn't exactly know how I was going to go about doing it, but I knew that it was like a calling. I'm really big into the universe giving you signs and things happening from fate and destiny of a higher power, whether it's an energy source, God, whatever it is we believe in, that it will definitely lead us to where we're meant to be in life. So all the trials and tribulations I went through got me to open the gym to try to help people, and then everything kind of fell into place from there on out.
Wow. You're well known in the fitness industry, and I'm curious to, how your peers accept, what you're doing, because you're in a different coast than us. I know a lot of the gym owners or management in the gyms around Southern California. A lot of them, it's not so much about the whole mind-body transformation. It's about telling you how the fastest way to lose weight, and how much cardio you need to do, and things like that. It's not about the whole transformation. How do your peers accept you and your aspect of the fitness industry?
Well, when I started teaching my classes, and I would have 20, 30 women in the class, I started at the end of every class that I would teach, whether it's spinning, aerobics, body sculpting, whatever. And I never taught yoga, actually, which is pretty funny. I was always the hyper, high-intensity one. But after every class, I would shut up the music, do some breathing, and I would always say a positive quote for the day, whether it's with a positive mind, your body will react accordingly, or smile, that's simple, be happy, say a kind word to someone. And what I found over time was all the women would come up to me after class one by one and tell me, wow, not only do I leave here feeling great physically, but mentally I feel wonderful. And then my classes would build, and then my clientele would build. And now that I don't own my gym anymore and I'm at different locations, life coaching and training, I have no problem getting top dollar with all the best clientele there is out there, because they want to feel better. Everyone wants to feel better. And I think another funny twist on this is, Dwayne Johnson, The Rock, of course, right?
Yes.
Okay, well, he and his father both endorsed my book. On the back, there's beautiful quotes from both of them, because his father, Rocky Johnson, who's a Hall of Fame WWE wrestler, he's a good friend of mine. So imagine, have you ever seen The Rock's dad?
Oh, yeah, I used to watch him when I was a kid.
Okay, so you know how big he is and tough he is, right?
Yes.
Well, when I first started my seminars at my gym, he's been a member for 15 years. So is Lawrence Taylor, the giant football player, who also got involved with me in my book. They both, it's funny, Rocky Johnson came to my meditation and healing seminar, and when I started talking, I was a little bit worried about how he would respond, and he just totally opened up about his whole life and about what he's faced and his trials and tribulations, and I really helped him, and that's why he endorsed my book, because it kind of changed his life to see that it's how you deal with all these problems. And he's actually meditating now, which is funny. So I think people are receptive to it. They just have to give it a shot.
That's awesome. Lisa, the name of your book is Metamorphosize. How do people find out more about you? How do they go about purchasing your book? And those who want to follow you on the different social networks, could you put all that information out for us?
Yep. I have a website. It's lisadwoskin.com. So that's Lisa, and the last name DWOSKIN.com. And they could order my book right on there, and it'll link to Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and my publishing company. Or they could go to my Facebook fan page, and that's facebook.com, Body by Lisa, or BBL Fitness. So either one of those will work.
I think we also see a Flow Rider on one of her sites there too, didn't you?
Yeah. I got it in with a bunch of celebrities. I actually had a big breast cancer event when my mom was diagnosed with breast cancer. The girl who was working for me doing facials, her husband was his PR guy. So he got Flo Rida to come to my gym, the stage in front of my gym, and sing to my mom and me and 1,000 people, and we raised $40,000 for breast cancer.
Awesome. Well, Lisa, it was a pleasure talking to you. Wish you all the best, and look forward to getting the hands on the book there and seeing more of what you're doing. Keep doing all the great things you're doing, and thanks for joining us here on Swoops World.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, and have a great night.
You too. Get some rest. I know it's late over there.
Yeah, I'm going to sleep right now.
Right.
Good night.
Good night. Thank
Bye.
you. That's Lisa Dwoskin, and you can go to her website. I think it's lisadwoskin.com, and Body by Lisa is her Facebook page, I believe. We'll get all that information on. If you go to the front page of Swoops World, and you can see where she's going to make an appearance on the show, you click on that tab, and there's a link to her website right then and there. We're going to take a quick break, and we're getting close to time for a little bit of Brewski's beer tasting, and Anthony Davis will be joining us pretty soon, and of course T-Bone's Time Out. You're listening to Swoops World on the Talk Story Radio Network. This is Alter Billies, and this is called Aim High. Back after this.